we have the unique opportunity to have somebody, a local hometown hero. He is the exact example of what we try to build every single day as we work out where you guys are sitting now. Mentality, perseverance, work hard, stay humble. Okay, they're on the wall here, and those are things that we preach in this building on a daily basis. And so to have someone like Anthony here tonight, and you guys are going to hear his story, it's incredible, and couldn't be more blessed to have him a part of what we're building here in the East Valley. So thank you guys for believing in what we do here at VYDL. There will be many more events like this, I hope, down the road.
Every time the video plays, I like to hang out in the back of the room because, you know, when I watch it, I get excited like I'm about to wrestle all over again. You know, I get the butterflies, I'm kind of getting jittery and just moving around because, I mean, that was my dream for 9 years. You know, ever since I got into my sport, ever since I got into wrestling, my dream was to have the opportunity to wrestle on that mat for this championship ring. And so I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, I just remember it was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 20,000 fans watching there. And I mean, that night I was living a dream. You know, after that match, I come off, I'm celebrating with my family, and I remember we're at dinner, and the phone just ran off the hook, just nonstop. One of the calls was from a movie company saying they wanted to do a movie about me. A couple of days later, Nike's calling, book companies are calling, and all these amazing opportunities came up after that. And it was just a blessing to me. You know, it was a long journey to get there, and that's really what I want to talk to you about tonight, is that journey that I took. Because I just remember, you know, from day one, getting into wrestling, it taught me so much, just the sport. You know, a lot of athletes out there, I know we can say our sport teaches us a lot, you know, about life. And what I like to say is, we all wrestle with something. You know, we all wrestle a challenge. We all wrestle an obstacle. Maybe it's a physical thing, maybe it's family, maybe it's school. We all have an opponent in life we have to wrestle and overcome. And despite the challenge that I had to face, I learned a word along my journey, and it was that word that flashed up, that word unstoppable. And I learned that word from day one from my mom. You know, my mom, you heard from her, she's a special person in my life. When she had me, she had no idea that I was going to be born missing my leg. Not even the doctors knew that. So she said the day I was born, she's there, she's a single parent, and she said, in the hospital, the doctors got really quiet. She said they literally rushed me out of the operating room. She wasn't allowed to hold me, she couldn't see me, they just took me out, and no one was telling her anything. She said she was just sitting there, and she could tell that something was wrong because of the look on the nurses' faces. And she said finally the head doctor came in, he said, there was a problem. He said, your son's going to be okay, but he was born missing his right leg. He said, that's all we can tell you for now. And so you can imagine as a kid, I started to notice that I was different. Right, just growing up, I mean, going to simple things, going to the grocery store, kids and adults would look at me, stare at me as I walked down the aisle. And I always remember the first day of school for me was always the hardest, always dreaded. Because I knew as soon as I stepped foot on campus, everyone would be looking at me. And some kids would kind of say things, whisper, some would laugh, and I'd go home quite a bit just broken, sometimes even crying, you know, and just not wanting to go back. But my mom, she'd always tell me the same thing. She said, there's nothing wrong with you. She said, everyone's born different, everyone's born unique, you gotta be proud of that. She said, don't be afraid to stand out. She said, be proud of who you are, be proud to stand out. And the best thing she taught me was to never let a challenge become an excuse. She said, don't let this be your reason why you don't set the bar high. She said, always try to challenge yourself to do new things, do better things. And so I was always pushing myself, you know, new things, getting into different areas of my life. And the prize is in direct proportion to the price. The greater the reward you seek, the greater the effort needs to be to achieve it. So I was like, you gotta pay that price every single day. You know, there's gonna be days you wake up and say, I'm too tired, you know, I'm too sore, I'm busy, you know, I wanna take a day off. I don't think it's working the way I want it to work. You know, I'm not seeing the progress I want. That was part of the price. That's what I was learning. Now you gotta grind and pay that price every day. And so with him showing me this mentality, we started doing some extra workouts every day. We call them torture workouts. One of them, we would get a Nissan X-Terra. So we push his car over speed bumps in the high school parking lot. We would run miles with 45-pound plates strapped to our back, get stronger, get tougher. I hated it. It wasn't fun. But by my senior year, I was sitting there, two-time high school state champion. I'm 96-0 my last 2 years on those two. So how many athletes out there want to play your sport in college, want to participate in college, compete there? A lot of you? Nice. So I was like you. Right? So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, all right, I got to start planning out my college, right? Where I want to go, my list of schools. So I remember I'm writing down the names of schools I want to go to. I remember the top of the list for me at the time was Iowa. They're the Hawkeyes, top-notch wrestling program. They're the best. So this is where I want to go. All right, so I remember I'm sitting by the phone. It wasn't ringing. They weren't emailing me. The coaches weren't reaching out to me. They weren't doing anything. So I talked to my high school coach. He's like, well, it's like you did well in high school and state. He said, you only wrestled in state. We got to send you to the high school national tournament. He says, if you do well there, then the colleges will look at you. So I was like, okay. You know, we went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, high school national tournament. I go there, and I ended up winning. I'm a high school national champion. I remember the guy I wrestled in the quarterfinals, he was signed to go to Virginia Tech on a scholarship. The guy in the finals, he was signed to go to Stanford on a scholarship. Another guy was going to Nebraska on a scholarship. So I'm thinking, all right, I beat these guys, now I'm going to get mine. Right? It's like you really, really work for it. It's like, now my goal is right there within reach. Right? So I'm thinking, finally, here we go. Go home, I wait for the phone to ring again. Still nothing. No one's reaching out. So I'm like, what's going on, right? And I start calling still, I keep trying to reach them. Finally, there were a couple schools that answered my call and took the time to respond to me. The few schools that did, they said two things to me. They said, well, number one, they said, you're about 30 pounds too light to wrestle in college. They said, these guys in college, they lose about 10 to 15 pounds per week. We think you're too small. We don't think you're strong enough to do that. They said, number two, this is Division I wrestling. The best of the best wrestlers across the country. They said, we don't think you can compete with them because you're missing your leg. We don't think it's possible. You know, so I don't know if you have this, you ever work really hard, you see the finish line somewhere, right? You see your goal like right there, and then as soon as you get close to it, you find out that you're not close to it, right? Maybe the finish line gets moved a little bit, you gotta work a little bit harder, a little bit longer than you expected. And I was so discouraged. I put the time in, right? I want my goal now. I learned, had to be patient. You know, so I'm there at that moment. Started to talk to my high school coach. He says, look, he says, they're not going to give you what you want, so you got to take it. He says, it's up to you. You got to prove it wrong. You got to walk onto a program. So all y'all who raise your hands to compete at college level, I want to tell you something. Yeah, I know your sport's important, but number one should be your academics. You know, because for me, that's what got me into the college that I wanted to go to. You know, my academics, I talked to the Arizona State coaches. They said, we don't have a wrestling scholarship for you because your grades are good. You can come here on a partial academic scholarship. So that gave me the door that I wanted. You know, so make sure, guys, right now, the two things that you should focus on right now, number one is your school, number two is your sport. You know, my coach told me something long ago. He said, look, he says, as an athlete, there's going to be three things in your life. He says, it's your school, it's your sport, and it's your social life, your friends. He's like, you know, as an athlete, you got to decide what two are the most important. He says, one of those things is going to have to suffer on that list. Which is it going to be? You know, so make sure you prioritize what you want, right? School first, sports. Friends are always going to be there, at least the good ones. You know, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people, you know, who are going to push you, help you grind to get better. You know, so I'm there. I have that opportunity. I had the grades. Talk to ASU coaches and say, yeah. They say, if you want to walk on, you can get this academic scholarship, but that's all we can give you for now. They said, there's no wrestling money here. We have 3 guys in your weight class. So if you want to make the team, you have to wrestle all 3 of them. If you beat them, you're on. We'll talk a couple years down the road about a wrestling scholarship. So I walked on. I remember I found a quote. It said, impossible is found only in a dictionary of words. You know, so I remember telling myself, going to school, I got to show them it's possible. Right? I'm going to beat these guys. Wrestle all 3, I beat them. I got the starting spot there. For my first 2 years at Arizona State, I had a night job. I was washing and waxing airplanes at Sky Harbor and Scottsdale Airport. So I'd go to practice, I'd go to school. Every night, I was in those hangars till about 11 at night. You know, just working, cover the rest of my cost of living stuff. Didn't like it. You know, it wasn't fun, but that was the price I had to pay. You know, and so I won that match that night. And it's been an honor. It's been amazing ever since. Been blessed, been traveling, speaking. We're actually getting ready to start filming the movie in about a month and a half. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he's actually going to be the producer of the movie. And so they asked me to do the wrestling scenes in it. So unfortunately, they didn't get Denzel to play me in the movie. Yeah, they got a really good actor. They haven't announced him officially just yet, but so I'll be his stunt double, which is what it's looking like. It's going to be pretty cool. I had so many amazing opportunities. One of them was to go to the ESPY Awards, where that video was shown. Jay Leno gave me an introduction for the Jimmy V Award. And so I remember I came out and the world's greatest athletes were right there. You know, I'm I'm looking at LeBron James, I'm looking at Tom Brady over here, Serena Williams, they're all just sitting there. You know, I'll never forget though, coming out, first row center seat was Justin Bieber. It's like he was wearing this white suit. I remember looking at him, like, what's he doing there? I'd be cool to wrestle Justin Bieber for like 1 period. And I came out, and I shared my speech, and I finished off with a poem. And I'd like to share the poem right now in closing before I answer some questions, because this poem, it's special to me. You know, I still set goals for myself, and I mean, I believe we all have to wrestle something daily. You know, and for me, it's the same thing. But this poem, during those times when I feel like I'm losing the match, you know, when I feel like I want to break down, this unstoppable poem, it motivates me through it. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. This is unstoppable for you. Every soul who comes to earth with the leg or two at birth must wrestle his opponent known. It's not what is, it's what can be that measures worth. Make it hard, just make it possible. And through pain, I won't complain. My spirit is unconquerable. Fearless, I will face each foe, for I know I am capable. I don't care what's probable. Through blood, sweat, and tears, I am unstoppable. Guys, it was an honor to share my story with you tonight, so thank you all for taking the time to hear it.